And now we're ready for the second semifinal. Andre Agassi, who won here 3 years ago. Boris Becker, 10 years ago, won the first of his 3 championships. Trying to go for 4. You know the feeling. It's not easy to win 4 of these.
You know, the older you get, the better you used to be. Well, Becker's got that same problem, but he hasn't won here since '89. Hasn't won a major since '91, but he dearly loved to win one more major.
Agassi has beaten Becker incredibly the last 8 times that they have met. What do you make of that?
Well, Agassi's gotten better. The first time they met, Boris said to him after the match, please don't get any better. Well, he hasn't returned the favor. He's gotten quite a bit better. He's the greatest returner perhaps in the history of tennis. And Becker's lost a little bit of something on his serve and a little bit on the movement. So that's really cost him against Andre Agassi.
Agassi comes off a match in the quarterfinals with Jaakko Elting, where he said he hit the ball as well as any time he can ever remember. 52 winners and only 12 unforced errors. Becker, in contrast, in his quarterfinal, went over 4 hours with Cedric Pioline, finally surviving 9-7 in the 5th. It was the most dramatic match of this Wimbledon.
Well, that's another thing that happens with age. Sometimes you have a tougher time putting opponents away. He cruised through the first 2 sets against Pioline, 6-3, 6-1. Had real chances to win that match before he did, and he was actually, as it turned out, lucky that he beat Pioline. He was down a break in the 5th set. Look at Andre Agassi here, 25 years old. He's been around a long time. Ranked #1 at the moment. Excellent record in '95 and a ton of money in 6 months.
One of those wins, the Australian Open.
We see a relatively easy time getting to the semis. One hiccup against David Wheaton in the 3rd round. Routine otherwise.
Becker opens it up.
15-9.
And Becker's known around the circuit as a notoriously slow starter, and he cannot afford that today. And that's a good first point for Boris.
122-mile-an-hour ace.
I remember playing Boris around 85 or 86, and I said, this guy's got the biggest serve I've ever seen. He's been bypassed, but he still possesses a nice big serve.
15.
And a double fault.
And that's typical of Becker. Come out sluggishly. And he knows he's got to go for a lot on that second serve. I would have liked to seen him maybe perhaps broken a sweat before he went out there, like fighters like to do before they go in the ring. Becker's still cold here. It's tough to change old habits, however.
First taste of the Agassi return. Agassi has broken serve more than anyone in the championships.
It shows you how important first serve percentage for Boris Becker is going to be in this match. Agassi crushes second serves with regularity.
31 breaks of serve for Agassi.
And Agassi, by contrast, known around the circuit as a very fast starter. And no surprise here, already 15-40, a couple break chances.
Agassi knows Becker will be blasting toward the net every serve. We've talked about it many times, John McEnroe. No one better digging out of love 40, 15-40 than Becker.
Well, along with perhaps Mats Wilander, perhaps the strongest player mentally that I've seen around the game the last 10, 15 years. He's going to need it today.
The People's Pirate, they call him here. Oh, he missed that by 10 feet. Couple of double faults for Becker, and Agassi with the early break. Back row of the Friends box. Barbara Becker Hand to her lips there, finger to her lips. And Nick Bollettieri, who was in almost that same seat 3 years ago, but he then was the coach of Agassi. Now he's the mentor of Boris Becker. And of course, familiar face of Brooke Shields to the left of Bollettieri.
And Agassi hasn't forgotten the way things went down with Bollettieri.
Nor has Nick. Love one.
Agassi still feeling some animosity over the end of their coaching relationship.
That was the end of '93 when Nick was the one who said, "I'm leaving."
Becker's going to have to win a lot of points from the backcourt today. He's got a big forehand, as we witnessed there.
The breakup really came over the fact that Bollettieri felt that Agassi didn't need him. There's the Bollettieri Academy days back when they were all teenagers, Wheaton, Courier, and Agassi, all pupils of Bollettieri. And he just felt that Andre got to the point where whatever Nick said, Andre didn't regard very seriously, so he felt maybe it's better to go somewhere else. It caught Agassi by surprise. Andre said he didn't want to learn about that second-handed, which apparently Agassi side said did, and Nick's going on and now works with Mary Pierce and Boris Becker.
Well, he also claimed he wanted to spend more time at home and not really travel the circuit, and then he turned up with Boris Becker and Mary Pierce, so I can't say that was all that surprising, however.
Things work out well for both sides. Agassi now is very happy with his new coach, Brad Gilbert. Gilbert, who was a very crafty player, didn't have the greatest tools, but there's Brad with a white cap, black bill, but could create wins, and he's helped Andre a lot in that regard.
Well left there by Becker, and Nick Bollettieri has helped Boris Becker, so you're right, it really has helped both players for both people in its own way.
If there's any hurt left, it's not with Bollettieri, it is with Agassi, who regarded Nick as a second father and was shocked by the separation.
And there was a break point chance for Becker to get right back into the first set. Agassi with that patented full swinging volley that it's become a real effective weapon for him. This is not something you teach kids growing up, but now kids want to know about that shot. They want to hit the Agassi volley.
In small print, I think, in fact, on the throat of the rackets, it says, if you're not over 18, please do not use this weapon for a mid-court swinging volley. A point now for 2-love. Service winner. It's interesting, Agassi gets the job done without the big ace total. He has 27 aces in the entire championship. Compare that with Ivan Isavic, who just nailed 38 in one match. But it's his return of serve that is so omnipotent.
I talked to Jaakko Elting, who he dispatched in the quarters, and he was surprised at how well Agassi served. The heaviness of the serve, the placement, and the pace. So Agassi's done well off the serve as well.
Sometimes the aces are really misleading. You don't have to have a lot of aces to be a winner on your serve.
Meanwhile, Becker showing some poor technique at that backhand attempt. Not the way he wanted to start things. Oh, that's a beautiful shot by Agassi.
Brilliant.
Watch his racket face change here at the last split second. First he tries his dip passing shot there. He was going to swing at it, but then suddenly sliced it over Becker's head. That was an incredible shot.
Magician.
15-30.
Second ace. Well, Boris Becker says if I had one quality from 10 years ago when I won as a 17-year-old, it would be that youthful self-belief of never thinking about losing. He said, I never thought I'd ever lose when I was 17.
Did you say he still had that quality now, or
Well,
that he
he's
had it 10
hoping
years ago?
if he could borrow that quality from 17 years of age when he was here to win as the first unseeded. And it's quite a historic victory. Youngest ever at 17, first unseeded to ever win man or woman Wimbledon, and the first German to win it.
Been around forever, still only 27. Big guy at 6'3". He's had a good year. Number 4. Not an amazing year, but a very solid one. And the big man showing some good touch there. He started the year poorly. My brother, as a matter of fact, beat him in the first round of the Australian Open. Didn't have a good French Open, so this is good. It's good and only good result, actually, for the majors so far this year.
Game Becker.
Becker holds. Agassi leads 2 games to 1.
Agassi leads 2 games to 1.
Boris Becker, 1-2. He trails here in the opening set to Andre Agassi 10 years ago, making history. 17 years and 7 months old, the youngest ever man to win Wimbledon, 6-4 in the 4th over Kevin Curran.
15 love.
And the first ace for Agassi at 2-1 opening set.
Interesting to see his service motion there, a little bit quicker, more deliberate these days. Same knee bend, but quicker motion back then. That's just too heavy by Agassi off the forehand side. Becker trying to mix things up off the ground, trying to get into the net, but the depth of Agassi's ground stroke's too solid. Good pace on that forehand as well. And already you can see Becker's dilemma. How to get into net off depth of Agassi's ground strokes. When to pick that time. And I'm not even talking about when he's serving. He's got his hands full today. That's a tough shot off a net cord. Agassi hit a good passing shot there. That was well done by Boris just to get that over the net. And I think that's pretty much what he was trying to do there. Just get it back. Turned out even better than expected. Just stick your racket out and can pay dividends.
Agassi.
3-1 Agassi.
He is hitting the ball so clean already. Only 4 games into this match.
3 games to 1.
Agassi with 3 titles, including the major, the Australian, San Jose, and Key Biscayne, and his only grass play, of course, here at Wimbledon. Quarterfinalist at the French, Yevgeny Kafelnikov defeated him. Agassi went out with a hip flexor injury as well. Oh.
He said at the beginning of the tournament, the more that he plays on grass, the worse he gets, and I don't believe that's the case. I think that was his way of saying I don't want to play any warm-up tournaments, and I can still get away with it.
For Boris Becker, this is his 12th Wimbledon and the 9th time he's reached at least the semifinals. 6 times in the finals, winning 3, losing 3. Once to Stieg, twice to Edberg.
13-15.
Phenomenal record here. As we mentioned, 6 finals.
Yeah, he expects, as he said, I was born on center court. Certainly that's true of his tennis life.
He's hit 4 first serves, only won 2 points.
13.
Agassi once again stepping forward on the Becker first serve, standing right at the baseline, just guiding that backhand cross court for a winner. That's a good tactic that Becker's trying to employ here, hitting that volley short. Agassi more comfortable passing from the baseline. Better make sure you hit that drop volley well. You also have to wonder, Dick, if that long 5-set match against Piolín is going to have any effect. Got to be a little bit stiff from that.
Boris says he feels for at least 2 weeks out of every year more British than German. That's how much he loves this Wimbledon experience, how important it's been to his total life. The double fault to break point and a chance for a 4-1 lead for Agassi.
Agassi's been crushing his second serve with regularity already, so he's forced to go for more. Tried to serve that one into the body, but hit it long. Another break point chance here.
Juice.
Good time to find your third ace.
He's going to have to serve probably the best he's served in years if he's going to beat Agassi here in the 70-75% range first serve. You have to win a lot of points off that first serve. It's a good volley there, though. Certainly volleying better than I've seen in the last few years as well. More punch, more sting on those volleys. And also getting down nicely for a big man. Extremely strong man is Boris Becker. Huge legs. Takes a while to warm those babies up.
Becker.
Agassi didn't agree. They call his ace, and so with a couple of aces, Becker saves. It's 3-2. Box. Both players friends in the back row. That's somewhat rare. Usually it's split front row to back, but they both, with superstition, felt comfortable back there, so they're going to share.
Strict superstition there.
3-2. Agassi with a break lead, opening set. Becker's decided, as you saw earlier, to play a little softball on Agassi.
Also, this slice short backhand is the shot he needs to employ. I mean, obviously he got lucky there, but that's a smart shot by Becker. He's no fool on these grass courts. He knows he has to change things up against Agassi.
Obviously, Agassi, the more pace you want to give him, the more he'll send right back to you.
Becker doesn't mind pace either. I was struggling against Leno and had lost him a number of times in a row, Don Budge gave me a call and said, try to come in right up the middle. Cut off his angle there, and that's exactly what Becker did to no avail. But that's not a bad play, cutting off the angle. And it looks like Becker's going to try that in this match. It's a smart play by Becker. Mentally, he's very into this match now. Good solid backhand return. Went after it and came over it. I guess he just couldn't handle it.
15-30.
That's
why Becker's got to be a little bit upset on himself that he lost that first service game. He'd been up 3-2 here. This would be a different story. Agassi would have been feeling the pressure more. He's the guy that's expected to win now. He's feeling the pressure of being number one. But Becker handing that early break to him. I don't think people watching on TV realize how hard it is to hit those shots. Agassi takes those shots off the baseline so easily. Becker with a couple nice forehands with some good power and depth, but doesn't have the quickness around the court that Andre does.
Game, Agassi.
4-2, Agassi. 92, the champion, now 95. 3 years. Time does change one.
Andre, can you draw any comparisons between this year and the year you won it?
Well, one of the articles in the paper this time said I was short, fat, bald, and ugly.
Well, there was a difference. He was long blonde hair 3 years ago. There has not been a match in this Wimbledon where Becker hasn't tumbled a time or two, trying to stop and change directions.
I don't think there's been a match in his career at Wimbledon where he hasn't hit the deck at least a few times.
That was part of the charm. Remember when he won at 17 and again the next year at 18, diving all over these lawns, making plays.
Well, that was a slip, but he certainly has a propensity to dive as well, although not nearly as much as we saw in the past. That body worn down of 10 years of playing the professional circuit. That's just a great return. That's just reaction.
He takes the ball so early.
He sees the ball so early here. I mean, that is a big first serve. Not much of a place to put it, but he found the open court.
Becker not to the service line when that one whistled by him.
I always said Jimmy Connors had the greatest return of serve I'd ever seen, but this guy out here today, Andre Agassi, my opinion, has taken it to another level. Amazing returner.
And because of his ability to return, Becker trying to put more on it and already has 4 double faults.
Exactly right. And that's where it pays to hit those return winners. Now 3 more break points for Andre Agassi. And did you see that? Boris Becker staying back on his serve. Talk about respecting your opponent.
I'd love 40 stays back. 2 more breakers.
I saw an article that was in the paper yesterday. He said, I'm not staying back on my serve. That's not my game.
They got a bad bounce there. Agassi with another break and leads 5-2. Sunny, low 80s. Agassi serves for the opening set.
Love 15.
And that's what I would recommend Becker doing. Don't give Agassi any rhythm. Just come right in off the serve. Ground strokers don't like that. They like to hit a couple shots, jerk you around a little bit, and then pass you. I can tell you from experience when I had to play guys like Ivan Lendl, they'd bury me if I stayed in the backcourt too long. That's two good attacks by Becker. Showing some good reach on the forehand side here. He's so strong, he can just muscle that ball. Relatively easy put away there. Bad news is he's down 2 breaks, so if he breaks here, he'd still be down another one.
Boris has found only 9 openings to. Now he thought that ball was long.
All I can tell you is really long. All I can tell you is within the range from the machine and the machine will go. That was so long. You just have to go with the machine and it's within the range.
Michael Morrissey from London in the chair.
That machine's consistently not worked over the years. I can tell you that from experience. Now, why they keep going to it, I don't know.
How do you know it's that machine?
Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm a little biased. I don't know. I don't see why they don't just have the guys call the lines instead of saying, we're going with the machine. There's another good approach by Becker.
So he's approached now 10 times on Agassi, and he's won 6 points. And now a couple of chances to get one of the breakers back. Second ace.
And that's an example of a serve that Brad Gilbert's really helped Agassi with. Placing that ball better. And Agassi's been an excellent pupil. And once again, you see the placement on that serve. Catching the line, chalk spraying up. And just like that, he's back to deuce. Becker's so strong he can hold this a little bit longer than the average player. He fooled Agassi there.
Third break point for Becker.
Once again, good placement off that first serve. Got himself in charge. No real chance for Becker there.
Titanium paste flew up.
You always could say that so much better.
Love that word, don't you?
Yeah. Well, how did you say that? How?
Titanium.
No. You say chalk flew up. You know, I give us one of those before the day's over. Oh,
let's get some old footage. I did it better then. My heart isn't into it now.
Boy, age takes so much away, doesn't it?
In some ways.
Agassi staring at the line.
Well, that ball obviously skidded on him because that's the first bad forehand we've seen him hit. May have been a little late preparing, and that ball came a little faster than he expected. Becker likes to set up his opponent, opening up court up, daring his opponent to go to the forehand. He hits that running forehand well, but this time, Agassi with too much power.
And his second set point. Becker, down 2-5, is just hitting out on every ball.
Well, he's got excellent ground strokes. He's just not at the level, in my opinion, of Andre Agassi. He's one of the greatest ground strokers around, if not the best at the moment. That's a risky proposition.
Becker mad at the call. Thought it was long again.
Machine, man. Mistake again.
See, I told you it doesn't work.
Cyclops that measures about 16, 18 inches beyond the line and supposed to help out with those close calls. It's not always the machine. Sometimes the linesman doesn't see it when it's beyond the Cyclop range.
Game first set, Agassi.
Well, there's the set for Agassi, 6-2. Took 33 minutes.
Well, that Cyclops machine covers up to 18 inches behind the line, so if they miss those calls, they shouldn't be out there on the court.
I think, don't you, that sometimes, John, they're so involved with turning it on and off and waiting for the machine that they themselves freeze.
I think you're right. I think they're better off just calling it and admitting to some mistakes, say if they didn't see it, which is certainly could be the case here with these big servers serving so hard.
Late sun, the grass is shiny.
15 minutes.
Serve again?
Well, it's a big second serve, and Becker a little anxious now.
Well, not going to use the machine. I think maybe that's been two very questionable calls. What do you mean questionable? I don't think everybody in the whole side was long. No, just turn it up.
Agassi didn't like the call either.
Which one? Well, both linesmen feel that the machines aren't performing well, so I'd rather go with the linesman.
So he doesn't like the fact that he feels that Becker was the one that was instrumental in having the machine turned off. He doesn't necessarily feel there were any bad calls.
So the machines are off, apparently. Michael Morrissey making that call.
I mean, I can't see this guy serve. How's he going to see it?
You know, Becker's going to have something to say to this, or he wants to.
Little tongue-in-cheek protest from Agassi. And a mocking laugh from Becker.
Say, if you can't see my serve, how come I just lost it this set 6-2?
30 minutes.
But this could rally some support for Becker, which is just what he needs.
Can't see my serve, well, can't see this. 5 aces. Becker at love to open the second set. Back at center court, and look at our match summary, and look at the unforced errors. 1 for Agassi, and we're into the second set.
Well, obviously Becker with 9, and that's cost him, and he hasn't been able to take advantage of the break chances. But I said earlier he needed to serve at 70, 75% to get himself into this. Well, he served at 74 and still lost 6-2. So things aren't boding too well here at the moment, although Becker served a good game the first game of the second set.
Grounds crew trying to tamp down those bruised areas. Reminder that, like strawberries and cream or the bow or curtsy to the royal box, Rolex has become a true Wimbledon tradition. And it shows Agassi with a 6-2 first set, 37 minutes into the match.
Right, please.
that's the shot I think Becker needs to go to. That's a smart play, that short ball. Forcing Agassi to do something he's not really comfortable with. Prefer to stand on that baseline and bludgeon the ball. Make you run. Good start here by Boris. Now a good play here to try to come in on this second serve. Keep mixing things up on Agassi. You can't afford to miss that.
Little chip and charge effort there into the net.
And he really had time to take a swing at that and come in. So he's got to make a very quick decision and decisive one.
$30-15.
And he's got to step a little more forward off that return, not sideways. He's got to cut off that Agassi service angle. Perhaps pull that cross court because he hits that shot extremely well on the forehand side.
14-15.
As you pointed out, John McEnroe, while Agassi doesn't have the overall velocity, his placement is so good on his serves. 110 miles an hour, but when you're putting him on the lines the way Agassi does, there's another liner. 1-all.
Let's take a look at Boris Becker's serve now and 10 years ago. I really like his motion 10 years ago more. He had a quicker motion. I think he got a little bit more pace into it. I think time has taken a little bit of toll on his body. Not quite as quick getting into the net or hitting it as hard consistently, although you wouldn't know it on that serve.
Number 6.
It's like Boris said, it's amazing what youth can do. No fear, no pain. So that was a good first serve, too, and Agassi just ripped that back.
15.
He's going to have to be in Goran Ivanisevic type figures and aces if he's going to be in this match. That's just too good. Didn't even hit that cleanly. But I've said this before, this is not luck. You aim for a certain area, stick your racket out, and good things can happen. When you return as well as Andre Agassi, most of the time the ball dips in. That's a discouraging point, though, for Becker. Hit that good at first serve. Watch it go by you. Doesn't want to get down a break here. Well, he's trying different things. This time he tried to stick it into his body to no avail. Look at that. He's won 75% of his second points. That's not going to get the job done for Becker. Just shows you how important that first serve percentage is, but he'd had a good percentage, 74%. So he's between a rock and a hard place at the moment. Percentage, as we just see, still hovering around 70. It's not enough.
It's good. And Agassi has an early break again. 2-1 in the second. Rare day where the Duke and the Duchess of Kent are not here, but plenty of royalty. King and Queen of Malaysia, first row on your right, King Hussein and his American wife, Lisa Halaby, a Princeton graduate, there on the left front row. Andre Agassi, 6-2 in the first set, and now up a break 2-1 in the second. On the line.
1-15.
And those are the shots he really can't afford to miss. Really cut down on those unforced errors. At least make Agassi play his best tennis.
15.
Another unforced.
That's just bad footwork, really. Agassi moving so much quicker. We see here Agassi with only 3 unforced errors in this match.
And he had only 12 in his Elting quarterfinal.
14.
Becker's got to get those feet moving. Looking a little bit sluggish out there right now. Agassi scurrying around the court like a rabbit. Reminds me of my old buddy Vitas Gerulaitis with those little bunny steps. God rest his soul. He has had some success off the second serve. He's trying to mix it up, chipping sometimes, coming over at others. Just got to try to cut down on those unforced errors. That's a smart play by Agassi. Just take something off the first serve, make sure it goes in so Becker can't attack, and Becker with another unforced.
Agassi leads 3 games to 1.
If Becker should win today, he'll tie Major Ritchie. You remember Major? 62 Wimbledon singles wins. That'd be 3rd most. Jimmy Connors, Arthur Gore, back to the old days. Major Ritchie, an old-timer. Then Becker, Emerson, McEnroe, and Borg. Borg won all of his in a row. 41 straight for Borg.
Well, they called that one out, fortunately for Becker's sake. And Borg abruptly stopped playing after the 1981 final, so he sure would have had a lot more if he had continued playing. That's
on the line.
That's just a great shot.
Borg retired. He was younger than Becker is now. Becker's 27 when he said goodbye to Wimbledon. Look at this.
Borg was only 25 his last Wimbledon. Imagine a clock. He caught that right about, I'd say 3 o'clock. Just pulled that cross court for a winner. And look at how fast that return came back. I've said this before, but they need a radar gun for returner serve.
There's another factor that is just so difficult to show on television. The ball getting to the server as he comes into volley so much quicker. He just isn't used to that rhythm. No one else gets it there.
And how do you practice it? Because no one else hits it that well, so you're stuck. What coaches sometimes do is stand in 3 or 4 feet from the baseline so they have more power, but that doesn't really simulate the real thing in a way. I don't think the players really go for it. Look at this touch off the one hand this time by Agassi. Everything working for Andre Agassi right now. He's playing some fabulous tennis.
Oh, he's a surgeon. 4-1. Agassi up 2 breaks in the second. 6-2. He won the first. The Agassi family, his father Mike, who was in the Olympics in 48 and 52 as a boxer. Andre, with the encouragement of his dad, who loves the game of tennis. Look at he had that overhead and 2-handed backhand going for him early.
Technique a little better now, however. A little late on that forehand. Got to be critical of something, you know. Critical of his forehand when he was 3.
Even when he was young, he was inside the baseline, huh? 4-1.
I tell you, Dick, this is really a scary exhibition of tennis so far. I mean, Agassi is jerking him around, and Becker must feel like a yo-yo right now.
6 straight points now for Agassi. The last time Agassi was in the Wimbledon semis was 3 years ago when he won the championship, and in that semi it was McEnroe on the receiving end, 6-4, 6-2, 6-3.
I know how Becker feels right now. I took a whipping of my own back then. Said, I'm never going to play Wimbledon again because this guy's not a real grass court player. Maybe I should have thought about playing a little more. This guy's not exactly bad on grass, right? I thought that was a great draw at the time. Andre hadn't had no success really here previous to that. And look at him now. A couple loose points, rare loose points though, the last 2 points for Andre.
Long. Well, atypical rally on the lawns of center court, and 2 breakers for Becker.
Well, Becker showing he's a good ground stroker in his own right. He's got to take advantage of these chances.
Oh, that's impossible.
You had to figure Becker was going to win this point. Good return, depth. Agassi just reaching for it and slicing it cross court for a winner this time with one hand.
The ball was behind him.
Things are sure going his way so far.
So Becker.
Yeah.
Well, that tells you more than you think. Been hammered away at by Agassi, and finally he uses that big forehand to break back.
Agassi leads.
The good news is he's broken. The bad news is now he has to face Agassi's returns.
Thank you.
May not get a chance again, he figures, so I'm going to celebrate right now.
It certainly gave him a burst of adrenaline.
7th ace. Finally converting a break point.
30 left.
Well, that's his 8th ace, and interestingly, Agassi's return aces, if you will, clean winners on return. He has 8, so they're even in that department.
Game Becker.
Boy, overpowering game by Becker. Agassi leads 4-3, up a set. There we saw Andre Agassi as a budding youngster, 4 or 5 years old, in Las Vegas. Lyman, Germany we go. Boris Becker, racket in hand. This is his first tournament forehand winner. And then a bit later, Becker, despite his success on the red clay of Germany when he arrived here at Wimbledon, not a lot of people knew of him when he was 16 in '84. He won a couple of rounds and then was injured in a match with Bill Scanlon. And then the next year, '85, right through the championships at 17.
Well, that's a positive sign for Becker those last 2 games. He was getting blown off the court. He was able to use those big, powerful ground strokes finally to win a couple free points and break serve for the first time. So
Time.
gotta hope he can break once again. He doesn't want to get down 2 sets to love.
Well, I hope you've got your strawberries and cream in the fridge, ready to join us on the telly tomorrow from London, 9 o'clock, live breakfast at Wimbledon, the ladies' final. Steffi Graf goes for her 6th. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, her first Wimbledon final. 8 o'clock Pacific time. Agassi 4-3.
The grass on the side of the court's obviously not used as much, a lot greener. Becker trying to get back, slipping, and Agassi saw that. Easy put away for him. That's why you don't want to get pulled too far off the court. A lot more slippery there. And there's that topspin forehand volley we talked about.
30.
People trying to copy that. The other shot they try to copy. Remember when Becker used to dive all the time, where they had German little kids diving on mats? So they've each invented their own shot.
On the sideline, but long.
13-15.
Double fault is first.
Here's a little chance here for Becker. Be a huge boost if he's able to get this break back. Things looked rather bleak 2 games ago. Seems to be steadying himself a little here. And Agassi just a touch anxious.
14-30.
It's always nice to hit a big first serve and win a free point.
Pete Sampras, number 2 seed, number 2 in the world, awaits the winner in the finals.
That was an extremely high quality point there by Becker. Hit about 5 excellent shots. That was the easiest of them all. Agassi missed hitting that pass, but that ball was staying extremely low.
Well, the Lion from Lyman, Boris Becker, calling on his best shot making.
It looked like he was in trouble here in this point, but right at the right moment decided to go behind Agassi.
Thank you.
And another break point for back-to-back breaks and to draw even at 4-all in the second set. And so it is. From 4-1 down, Becker 4-all.
And for the first time, Agassi showing signs of the pressure of being number 1. Not a good backhand there. A complete miss hit. Now Becker with an opportunity to service some new balls. Brand new ball game here at 4-all.
You mentioned Agassi as a reputation fast starter, Becker not, but Agassi does get into bad patches, and he's in one now. Becker playing his best tennis.
Big game for Becker here, though. He needs to solidify this streak and hold here. Go up 5-4. Becker, perhaps inexplicably, at least to me, staying back on his second serve. He's been hitting off the ground well, especially the last few games, but I don't think that's a winning formula. Well, Agassi has returned superbly, particularly on the second serve.
15 all.
That's what he needs, those big first serves.
Through the quarterfinals prior to this match, you see he was broken only 6 times in 5 matches and 4 times today.
Well, let's not forget he didn't even play a seeded player to get to the semi, so take that with a grain of salt.
Neither man had to play a seeded player. And getting to the semis, somewhat unusual. And it's only the 3rd time in 68 years that the top 4 seeds made it to the semis.
Quite sure why Agassi gave up on that point. Becker barely got that back. I think if he had gotten himself back into the court, he may have been able to run that down. Becker with some definite momentum right now.
Game Becker.
4 games in a row for Boris Becker. 5-4 in the second. 4-5 Agassi, second set. Agassi endeavoring to halt a run of 4 straight Becker games after Andre had run out to a 4-1 lead. Appeared to be breezing toward a 2-set advantage. Replay the point, overruled by Morrissey.
Both players went up to say something to the umpire. Neither one did. They both decided to walk away, which I think that was the proper move given this set of circumstances. The guy made a mistake and corrected himself, so nothing either player can do there.
So 15 love. Good approach by Becker.
He wasn't happy about that call on the baseline, but I thought that ball caught the line. We have a good viewpoint from here. Agassi playing it safer than we've seen him in the first set and a half. Just missed that pass, however. He appears to be going after the ball more in this game.
30-15.
Got a little bit tentative and let Boris's mental strength come into play again. Boris would dearly love to win one more major. Hasn't won one in 4.5 years. Becker showing he's got a lot of variety off that forehand side. Once again, that short ball paying dividends. Agassi was forced to hit up. Becker with time to hit that top spin lob winner. Agassi's still not really that comfortable at net. Only comes in when forced to do so. Here are 2 points from the second set for Becker. He had a real chance there. Wasn't a whole lot on this ball. He had plenty of time to do whatever he wanted with it. Bad miss there by Boris.
One of the few unforced in the last 5 games. Becker with only 6 unforced errors the entire set, so he's really raised the level of his play.
Agassi.
Free knockdown rule not in effect at Wimbledon. 5-all.
I've said this before, it's always a good play to go behind your opponent. Obviously, those grass court sneakers have nubs there to give the players better footing. Got stuck there. Becker's all right, however.
5-all.
You know what happens in basketball, Dick? You're 20 down, you fight so long to get back to even, and usually the team that was ahead ends up taking control again. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I have a feeling it may.
Becker down 2 breaks and rallies, wins 4 straight games to get even. Now love 15 at 5-all.
Well played by Becker, because Agassi hit an incredible return. Good news for him, it's only the second set. It's not late in the 4th period like it would be most likely in a basketball game. And the big man showing some nice touch here.
Don Nelson's been named coach of your New York Knicks. If you had a chance to talk to Don,
yeah, I'm available for the assistant job. Well, I guess he almost hit that winner cross court again with the miss hit. This time Becker showing some more determination. Went behind Agassi for that easy point.
Oh! Second service.
Starting to believe in this tactic of staying back in the second serve. We may see more of this in this match.
14-15.
He's hitting his forehand extremely well, and that was a nice slice backhand approach. Once again going behind Agassi. Notice Andre slipping there.
Point for 6-5.
Becker.
Welcome back to center court, Wimbledon, with John McEnroe. This drama starting to build. Boris Becker, as you said, just before he broke Agassi. Agassi's playing scary. I mean, he's so brilliant, and then all of a sudden.
I just have to give credit to Becker to show how mentally strong he is. Things looked rather bleak, 4-1, 2 breaks down. Some doubters, myself included, thought that Becker would get steamrolled here. Give him credit for coming back and getting himself back into the second set.
And now it's Agassi at 5-6, trying to hold and get into a second set tiebreak.
Looks like Agassi's starting to feel the pressure more and more as this match has gone on. You can just see Becker step a little bit quicker. That forehand, a little more pace, just playing excellent tennis at this end of second set. Guess what, boys and girls? Boris Becker, 2 points from evening this match up. Completely one-sided until about 15 minutes ago.
How quickly that can be even, and tough to look.
It's a good idea there by Becker. You can just put a little bit more on it. Agassi barely had a move for that pass. I think he should try to keep using that play of hitting short. Look at Barbara Becker. She can't look either. No, that's not going to work there. Not from 4 feet behind the baseline.
That's here.
He knows that was a dumb shot to try there.
Agassi from love 30, a point now from a tiebreaker.
Oh!
Agassi.
6 years ago, these two men involved in a brilliant Davis Cup battle that involved 3 straight tiebreakers as Becker won, rallying from 2 sets down. Agassi winning the first 2 tiebreaks, losing the third, and then Becker closing it out 6-3, 6-4. Career-wise, Agassi is only +3 in tiebreaks, and Becker has a big-time record, so that all favors Big Boris. And that kind of serving.
Well, they say the server has the edge, and the guy that approaches the net more often, because obviously more difficult and more pressure to have to keep hitting passing shots, but that's Andre Agassi's game. That's a surprisingly mediocre record for him.
And there's an early mini break. Well, the serve did appear to be long. Even Agassi thought it was long. Both players hesitated for a moment. Then they realized that's what they wanted. The machine's off.
Actually, Agassi thought that baseline shot was long. He continued to play. To his credit, that would have been a big mistake not to play and hit a nice backhand winner.
Becker thought the serve was long. 16th passing shot winner for Agassi. Becker leads 2-1.
And unlike Goran Ivanisevic, Becker saving his best serving for the tiebreak. 2 big serves so far. Now up 3-1.
Ivanisevic earlier in his semifinal with Pete Sampras, losing the first set tiebreaker 9-7, and eventually losing in 5 to Sampras, who's through to the finals on Sunday.
This is where you see Boris Becker, such a big-time player in the big points, so mentally tough. And that's why he's won 3 Wimbledons and Goran hasn't won any. Or certainly one big reason. happens if you stick your racket out?
They change ends. Becker up a couple of breaks, 5-1. No breakfast at Wimbledon tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. The ladies' final, Steffi Graf and Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. Then the men's final at 9 o'clock Sunday morning. And Becker now with a handful of set points.
And who would have thought this? Boris Becker is showing how tough he really can be. And Agassi clearly feeling the pressure, because he's not the same player he was the first set and a half.
Oh my. Agassi so dominating, and then suddenly about 20 minutes ago Becker turns it up, and this match will be best 2 of 3.
Please, ladies and gentlemen,
To the third set. Hour and 19 minutes old the match. They've split sets. Rolex and Wimbledon share a tradition of quality and excellence. These two men, very different paths to the semis. 50% more on-court time for Becker. Longer matches. Not insignificant at this point. 2 out of 3.
And that's what he wants to stay away from. Don't let Agassi jerk him around during the points. He's got a lot of momentum right now. I try to take advantage of it.
Agassi and Becker have played one other time at Wimbledon, 92. That was the match before your match with Agassi, and Andre won in 5, 6-3 in the 5th in the quarters on his way to the title.
That's where I thought that me to play Agassi in the semis was better, because Becker had such a great history at Wimbledon, had been in 6 finals already. Andre hadn't been in any. And a few years later, Andre Agassi now the #1 player in the world at the moment.
Morrissey in the chair calls fault.
Where was it at?
14-15.
That's a test of the #1 player, and a less mature Agassi.
Things getting a little testy out there for some between Becker and Agassi.
Game Agassi.
Agassi holds, underway in the third. So far ahead it seemed in the middle of the second set, up 2 breaks on his way to a 2-set lead, and then it all came crashing at the big power of Boris Becker. And we started to say a less mature Agassi, you wonder if that wouldn't really crumble him inside, but he's a different man the last couple of years, and credits Brad Gilbert for that. Big return there.
It'll be very interesting to see what develops here early in the third set. Becker needs to maintain that high first serve percentage. I wonder if the sun's bothering Boris at all when he serves here. He's got extremely high ball toss.
13-15.
Hit the line. 9 aces for Becker.
He certainly seems to be more in a groove on that serve now. Hitting that second serve with more authority, better placement. So far with 9 aces. Agassi clearly not hitting the ball as cleanly as he did earlier.
Game Becker.
Set all, 1-all in the third. Sunday, our breakfast will have Pete Sampras going for 3 in a row, a rare feat at Wimbledon against the winner of this match. 9 a.m. Pacific time, or 8 a.m. in the West Coast and 9 a.m. Eastern live.
15.
There was nothing on that second serve. Becker could have taken a full swing. Chose to try to chip and charge, dump that in the middle of the net. His movement there proved to be a bit of a liability.
13.
There are 2 ways to look at the longer matches for Becker. One, that it may cost him if this one goes deep into 4 or 5 sets, and the other is that he has been toughened by the longer matches where Agassi has gone through quickly, and how would he hold up if it should go 5?
So that's a shot he needs to do more often. That's an excellent shot. He loves that inside-out backhand. I've seen him do it in doubles when I played with him.
15.
One of the best backhand returns on the deuce court that I've seen. And that's the one he likes to hit, the inside-out variety. You got to think it would hurt him only because he did it just his previous match against Piolín, but I certainly didn't expect to be 1 set all here right now, so who knows? And Agassi ran through that backhand.
13.
Over anxious there.
Had Becker off the court, but couldn't convert. 30 all. And a break point for Becker as Agassi commits his second double fault.
For the first time, Becker with a chance to take the lead.
Oh, Agassi's ball right at the line, and Becker not protesting, just wondering how could he come so close to winning this game. Yep, on the line.
Usually when it goes on the line, chalk flies up, and it didn't there. That's why Becker was wondering.
Agassi only 1 of 7 first serves this game.
Advantage Agassi.
We're certainly being entertained here with these backcourt rallies and these 2 big hitters. That point going to Andre Agassi.
Oh, Andre was going to do a little serve and volley there.
And that's a good idea, Binder. He needs to change things up a little bit. Boris starting to get in a groove. Even if he did that once a game, it'd be more than enough.
So Agassi bails out of the break point. 2-1 on serve in the third. Welcome back. The maturity of Andre Agassi here at Wimbledon 8 years ago, 4 years ago. Always generous with the crowd, part of his popularity. That was 92, the year he won it. The shaved look in 93, aerodynamically pure. And from Barbra Streisand in the Royal Box, or the Players Box, to Brooke Shields. They've been serious now for more than a year.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Third set, set all.
Thank you.
1-2 Becker.
Love 15.
What a clever shot. Becker all over the net.
Becker thought he was going to hit a topspin lob. That's what I thought he was going to hit, and then he flicked it cross court. Watch him here. Just he waited to the last second. Becker unable to handle it. Look at that return. That looked like the first set and a half right there. Becker hits a first serve. Andre says, take this. Virtually no backswing on that return.
Passing shots, 16-0 for Agassi, and Becker has only 9 aces, so Agassi a +7 in the serving game, serve return game. There's number 10 for Becker. 30 all. You have to admire what Becker's brought to Wimbledon again in '95 and what he's done today. Many top players would have folded. Well, ace, and then a return ace. And a break point for Agassi.
Well, he's had more success when he's really gone after that first serve. When he tries to take something off it and pull Agassi out wide, Agassi's been able to cut it off like he did there. He sure needed that one. A second serve ace.
His 11th of the match.
That was a big and important second serve right there.
Agassi erased a Becker chance to break him in the last game, and now Becker has returned the favor.
Advantage Becker.
He got the angle that time.
3 aces in this game.
And that's a gutsy play. After getting past the previous time he served there, Agassi hit that return winner, goes right back to the serve again. Fooled Agassi, leaning the other way.
Going back on new balls, please.
2 all in the third. Now each man with a chance to break serve. Last 2 games, and they stay on course. Becker changing rackets.
The way Ivan Lendl used to do. Break out a new racket when new balls come into play.
It isn't a new racket, but newly strung, right?
That's correct, Dick. New set of strings.
Love 15.
Depth there, even Andre Agassi couldn't handle. Becker is really into this match now mentally. Agassi better be careful here. That's an answer.
15.
Watch Agassi take that ball so early on the rise. No chance for Boris.
Agassi took a very tough ball and made it look easy.
13-15.
Ball was nice and low, just the way Boris wanted it. Agassi didn't hit that cleanly, but he saw Boris moving to the other side. Boris pulled away on that forehand just a little bit too much, trying to hold it to the last second so he could fool Agassi. Point for 3-2.
Becker is 11 of 16 when he comes in on Agassi's second serve, so it's been a good play. Not that time. Boris Becker, he said as soon as he saw the seedings for this Wimbledon, he anticipated today's meeting.
When I saw the draw, I was really eager to play him. I was trying to make sure that at least I'm in the semifinal, hoping that he would come there. You know, he's beaten me a few times lately, and it's just of all the courts in the world, you know, this is the one I want to play him again. He's beat me here a few years ago in 5 sets, and he went on to win the tournament, and so he has still an edge over me, and I'd like to get even with him.
Well, they're even at the moment, splitting sets and on serve 2-3. But Becker has lost 8 consecutive times to Agassi. He said he beaten me a few times.
Reminds me of that old line my buddy Vitas Gerulaitis said. He had lost to Connors 17 times in a row, finally beat him at the Masters, and said, no one beats Vitas Gerulaitis 18 times in a row. Boris would like to say no one beats Boris Becker 9 times in a row.
15.
Not many have.
Probably nobody. Becker showing some nice volleying today.
15. Love.
13.
And Agassi clearly not returning the way he had been earlier. Becker serving with more power, I believe, placing the ball better, and Agassi simply feeling the pressure a little more after blowing that second set. And now we've seen everything. Becker staying back on the first serve.
Well, remember that graphic we showed you early in the match? We were into the second set, and Agassi had committed only 1 unforced error. That's turned around. 13 now.
Game Becker.
Agassi thought the serve was long. Matters not. 3-all.
As it turned out, maybe it did help Becker when he played Pioline, because Pioline chose to stay back on the first and second serve, so he certainly had loads of practice with that. And that's what Andre's been doing. Andre would probably be well off if he just came in just a little bit on this serve. He's serving well enough. Gets a break there.
15.
He had this forehand lined up. Becker was there, though. That's a nice backhand. Becker's favorite shot, perhaps other than his serve, is that cross-court forehand. He hits with a lot of power and depth. He's starting to bludgeon that ball on the forehand side. Good second serve into the body there. Becker trying to run around and hit with that big forehand once again. Just a little bit too much pace on it. Dick, as you said, you're starting to see more unforced errors, more mishits coming off the Agassi frame. He certainly doesn't seem to be running down as many balls as he did in the first 5 matches either. And look at this.
Double fault for Breaker. Third double fault. Second chance to break for Becker in this set. Had a chance in the third game. Give credit to Becker, hustling down every Agassi attempt and forcing the error. He leads in the third and in the match. Let's look at that last point. He had a chance to pick off this one in the air, let it bounce.
That's his shot too, Dick. He usually hits that away for a winner. Probably should have let this one bounce. Instead, he chose to hit it in the air. Let that ball drop way too low, and he's feeling the pressure. He's flat now.
Becker hustling to save that defensive lob and get the overhead error from sideline to sideline.
And he is pumped up. Just shows you what you can do if you run down a few balls. Anything can happen. And who would have thought now? Set all, 4-3, Boris Becker serving.
It just seems that Agassi doesn't quite have the life that he showed earlier, and Becker certainly does. Well, that'll pump a little adrenaline.
You're feeling a lot of pressure. That has a tendency to make you feel a little flat, which is appear to what happened to Andre, but far from out of the match yet.
Well, he had those 3 remarkable sets against Elding and a set and a half here where he was just in a zone, and then that has been shattered a bit.
15.
He has 16 unforced errors today, does Agassi. That's 4 more than he had in the entire Elting match.
He's not playing Elting anymore. He's playing a 3-time Wimbledon champion, 6-time finalist in Boris Becker, one of the greatest grass court players ever. It's a dangerous shot to try at 15 all, especially at the high point of the net, where that net is probably about 6 inches higher than it is in the middle. We're also seeing a lot more mishits off the Agassi racket. That was another mishit return. Becker trying to get the 2 balls with the least fuzz on it now so he can hit that big first serve. a big first serve.
And now Boris Becker,
14-13.
1 point from a 5-3 lead in the third set. As you can see, a set all, 146 into this match.
Game
14th ace for Becker.
Becker leads 5 games to 3.
And now Andre Agassi, once so much in command of this match. Up a set, up 2 breaks in the second.
Oh. 15 left.
You see winners unforced for Agassi. Look at the first set, impeccable. Second set, crumbling. And third set, only 8-7.
That's a real casual volley there.
That was careless.
I'd like to see Becker's ratio, too. I bet you that's improved as well. That is not very good technique there. Open the face of that racket too early.
13-15.
A rare free point for Agassi in this set. When we return, Boris Becker serves for a 2-1 lead. Approaching the supper hours here in England. Still a lot of sunshine as we look into center court, where Boris Becker seemingly being drummed right out of the semifinals by the incredible shot making of Agassi. Middle of the second set, rallied, took the set in a tie break, and now this service game to take a 2-1 lead.
And let's see how many first serves he gets in this game. This is the first one there. That's a big second serve out wide.
Yeah, early we saw so many blistering returns from Agassi, just freezing Becker, but in the last set and a half, not so. On occasion, but not often.
And all of it's mental, in my opinion.
There's one. Leaning into that forehand.
Becker deciding to stay back once again. Agassi picked up on that quickly. Inside out forehand winner. Becker will never be known for his movement around the court. Appeared a little sluggish there. Surprised he decided to stay back on that point. Good solid volley once again by Boris Becker. Certainly shown me something this year, much more so than the last few years here at Wimbledon. Just going after that volley more. Not too many unforced errors either. That ball toss too low there. You know he's got to be anxious right now. 2 points from the third set. second serve once again.
Boy, second serve ace. That's 15 aces for Becker. 2 set points.
He's had a lot of success going to the Agassi forehand this game on the second serve. This time chose to go to the backhand. Agassi's known as a little more consistent off the backhand. Just cupped that ball back. Becker unable to handle it. Still one more set point. Another missed first serve. He's going to have to rely on those big seconds. He's hit a lot of first serves in this game.
Game and third set, Becker.
Becker leads 2 sets to 1.
Becker leads 2 sets to 1. Fourth set. Agassi to serve.
And it is now becoming more serious in the Agassi camp. The number 1 seed will have to win the next 2 sets to advance to the finals against Pete Sampras.
15.
Only 1 break in that third set, the 7th game. The missed overhead, remember, of Andre Agassi.
Becker hit 3 big second serves to the Agassi forehand that last game.
I just agree with you, John. For the last set, it just doesn't seem like Agassi is moving well. It kind of locked in. Not much bounce in his step at all.
It doesn't appear to be as focused either. A little confused. And the unforced errors starting to pile up, at least for Andre Agassi's standards.
Becker ready to pounce. And opening early here in the 4th set, 15-30.
Looking surprisingly fresh after that long 5-set match on Wednesday. Smart play by Becker there, chipping that backhand pass, making Agassi volley that. And that's where Nick Bollettieri's really helped Becker with the conditioning. Force Becker to get out of bed, work harder. We see Nick there. 2 break points for Boris, first game of 4th set.
20 unforced errors now by Agassi. 3 in this game.
Becker catching that way late there.
Oh, that's a big serve by Agassi, and did he need it? That was a huge point.
Sure didn't want to get down a break first game of the 4th set.
To Agassi.
2 players are both enormously popular in England. This center court audience really split as to where to direct their cheers.
They're going to direct them towards Andre Agassi in this set. They'd love to see a 5th set, just like they did with the Sampras-Ivanisevic match. This match certainly more enthralling in terms of ground strokes and the ups and downs that it's taken so far. unlucky there. I guess he realizes he needs to take the initiative a little more.
Four double faults.
When Agassi gets down on himself, he has a tendency to rush a little bit. He plays pretty quick as it is, but he seems to be playing awful fast right now. He's got to slow himself down.
Advantage Agassi.
Starting to be more aggressive here. He didn't even go for that. Obviously thought it was going out, but that's the only possible explanation I can come up with.
This then is the longest game of the match, 4 deuces.
Clearly could have run that down had he gotten there. Now what happens? He gets a double fault.
And Becker with his 3rd break point in this opening game of the 4th. One is now wondering about the will of the #1 player. Oh. Not the skill.
Loves that inside-out forehand. Maybe only 2 guys that hit it better, perhaps Bruguera and Muster, and they certainly don't do it on grass the way he does it. Matter of fact, neither one even showed up here. Dick, I'll tell you something. Becker is hitting his forehand extremely well right now. Better than even Agassi's hitting it. And he also seems to be moving almost as well as Agassi, which is a real surprise. Another break point here for Becker.
Six deuce struggle here in this opening game. 4th set. Becker leads 2 sets to 1.
Advantage Agassi.
Who would have thought the serve would be the thing to get him out of trouble right now? A couple free points.
Surviving 4 breakers against his serve, Agassi holds. Looking into the western sidelines, into the late sun, Nick Bollettieri, former coach of Agassi, and seated side by side with Agassi's lady fair, Brooke Shields. It must be very difficult to carry so much emotion, so much caring, and yet not able to verbalize it, let it out, trying to be polite to those around you.
Very interesting seating selection for this match, having Nick right next to Brooke.
Becker serves love 1 in the 4th.
The mental warfare even going on in the player's box.
Love 15.
Let's see if Agassi can regain the momentum that he lost in the middle of the 2nd set. So the chalk come up there.
16 aces for Becker. And those who counted this 27-year-old out prematurely may have a tough time swallowing today. on the line.
Well, there's a rare mental mistake by Boris Becker. He should have expected that ball to go in, not assume it was probably going to go long. He just wasn't ready to hit this overhead.
There's a play where Agassi went for it. He hadn't been going for some of those shots, and it paid off for him. Maybe that'll give him a boost.
He's getting his second wind. Here comes Agassi again.
15-40.
Watch how closely he watches the ball right until he hits the racket, cutting that angle off.
2 break points. One break point.
Becker serving as hard as I've seen him serve in years. He's really picked up his game since early in the match. And with a lot of confidence. Be a big breakthrough mentally for him if he beat Agassi the first time in 9 attempts. Played that a little close, but he got away with it.
Well, Becker had 4 chances to break Agassi in the opening game of this set, and now Agassi 2 times turned away.
He really turned it up a notch those last 3 points.
And Agassi's showing a lot more hustle here in the 4th set.
Game Becker. One game.
That second serve to the forehand has really paid dividends for Becker.
Jackets off in the Royal box. John Curry there in the center. Charles and Peggy Ebersol. Former Prime Minister Sir Edward Heath. Lots of royalty.
That's a great point all around. Becker with a nice move. Sneaking in on that volley. Hit a pretty good volley there. Once again, Agassi dipping that forehand cross court. That is an extremely difficult shot to hit. Becker trying to do the same, but too far out of position there.
13.
He likes that running forehand as well. Overran that just a touch.
Well, a solid serving game for Agassi. 2-1 in the 4th. Boris Becker was, like John McEnroe, an outstanding soccer player as a youngster. And this was an incident where Cash didn't take kindly to Becker's boyish copying. And then the Becker that's been self-deprecating and angry. And then the Becker today who said, I'm going to be very much in control in these championships, and that he has. He's been very open in his one desperation, and that's to win 4 Wimbledons. And in the modern era, that places him in the elite. It's his 12th trip to the All England Club. 9 times at least to the semifinals.
Gets to serve with some new balls here. A little extra sting on that serve. Shows some good flexibility with those soccer moves. He's a very flexible guy for a guy this big. Dick, you said it. Agassi showing some more hustle now, but Becker kept his composure.
15 love.
Agassi was too far behind the baseline to really hurt Becker, and Becker knew it. Took his time. Goes up the middle for a winner there. Becker of old would have dove for that volley.
15 all.
Becker reminds me in body shape as you look at this again.
Of me?
Now I was going to say Ernie Els, the golfer. They're both tight end size. Had they grown up in the United States, as athletic as they are, they might be starring in the NFL. Big, powerful, move well. Good. And in fact, Ernie Els was a tennis star in his youth before he took up the game of golf.
I was just going to ask you, how do you know Ernie Els moves well? They don't exactly run a whole lot in the golf course.
Yeah, but he was an outstanding tennis player as a kid.
As Agassi catches the line there. Up 15-30. Beautiful topspin lob. That was a huge serve there.
121 miles an hour.
Out wide. If he did that same serve up the middle, would have been 125, 130.
18 aces for Becker.
That serve absolutely unreturnable. He says, hey, I'm still one of the biggest servers around. I got 18 aces against Andre Agassi.
And a double fault and a break point for Agassi. 5 doubles for Becker. Agassi, who had 2 breakers in the last Becker service game, couldn't convert.
And he scooped that forehand half volley beautifully there.
Agassi, solid return, wasn't it?
Very solid return. Look at this right there. Kept his composure and moved forward after he hit the volley, which is a good play. Easy put away.
Advantage Becker.
And for the first time, he's starting to feel like the bigger, stronger man is taking control. It's very difficult to do against Agassi, who hits the ball extremely hard. Becker, a big guy at 6'3".
So again, a game of lost opportunity for Andre Agassi, unable to break. He's had 3 chances in the set. It's 2-all.
Just about to break. 1 game.
But it's just about to break the string. So
Well, he decided to wait a game, I guess. He had new balls the last game. Maybe he forgot. I don't know. He said it was just about to break to keep the umpire off his back. Not give him a time warning. And that shade starting to become a factor out there. You have to think it would affect Agassi more, have more difficulty picking up that Becker serve. Have to wait and see on that.
especially Becker returning out of the shade.
Love 15.
4 aces for Agassi, 6 double faults. Well, Becker's ball striking has been superb the last couple of sets. Getting everything back and deep. 3 break points.
I guess his footwork a little shaky now. Flat-footed. It was not the proper decision there to try to hit that return that hard.
Thank you.
Big chance here for Becker.
Oh, my. At low 40, Agassi takes the net.
That's what he needs to do. He needs to keep Becker from playing the way he wants to play, dictating play. And to do that, he needs to sort of change things up just a little bit. That would be to come to net. See if Becker tries to come in off this second serve.
He was.
30 pieces.
One more chance here for Boris Becker. And this could prove to be a very big game for Andre Agassi.
From low 40 to game point, Andre Agassi. Becker had 4 breakers in the opening game of the set, 3 more here in game 5.
They've both had their chances this set.
7 for Becker and 3 for Agassi. Well, there's a tremendous save for Agassi from low 40. Welcome back. Here's that last point. And Agassi from low 40 trying to show that he still has plenty of zip. Jogs to the chair. You want to get over there before they change their mind from low 40. Getting out of that mess. 2-3.
He also realized Becker would be a little bit irritated blowing that love 40. Wanted to rub it in just a touch.
If you're ever going to break, this might be the time, huh?
Love 15.
Double fault. Becker, it has to weigh on you when you have that many opportunities. Becker wants to finish him off in 4.
Well, he has gotten tentative with them when he's had those break point chances. Now finds himself down love 15.
6th double fault.
And it's too deep.
15-all.
Good play by Becker. That return was low and hard.
Well, he's kept his composure at net, which is very difficult to do when you're faced with an Agassi barrage. Doesn't seem to be bothered by his pace. These guys must get used to it after a few years. They're playing big hitters. Ball's coming faster and faster the years go by, so it's not so shocking to the players.
13-15.
How often did we see that the first set and half? Not very.
Fans watching can remember 1981 when you defeated Bjorn Borg for your first Wimbledon title, and you were using a wooden racket, right?
Last year I used the wood here at Wimbledon. How things have changed. Love to see these guys play with wood rackets. They could still hit the ball awfully hard, I can assure you that. Just not as consistently as hard. Good passing shot there by Agassi. Oh, there's the old Becker dive. He picked just the right time to do it, too. It's a big point for him. He's had some practice doing that, but not so much in this event.
Well, you mentioned the wood rackets, John McEnroe. Many feel that there's so much power in the graphite and the modern racket. Are you in favor, perhaps, of some regulation that would take some of that away from the professional player?
I'm in favor of them going back to wood. Imagine baseball players, if they started using graphite rackets, bats, they'd be hitting the ball out of the stadium, and that's what's happened in tennis.
Seventh double fault to Deuce. They'll bring back the wooden rackets. They might bring back John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors.
I don't think so. As much as I'd like to say so, that won't happen either, but be very interesting to see these guys. But I guess since the cat's out of the bag, just try to come up with some regulations.
Break point for Agassi.
That can be a good play on grass, but it's also risky, that drop volley. Agassi with some renewed vigor handled that one easily. He took a swing at that, but unfortunately it was way late. Not even close there. Good volley.
Well, here in the fourth set, there have been 11 break point opportunities. Becker with 7, Agassi with 4. No conversions. And Becker now a point from 3-all. Becker serving 65%. For that big serving German, that really makes him tough.
Well, I thought it would have had to be a little higher, but he's hitting that ball awful heavy. It's really bouncing off the court. Agassi having more and more trouble handling it. And his second serve has been very impressive in this match, especially to the Agassi forehand. He knows Agassi's a little more consistent on that backhand side. He's had enough experience playing him. So some good quickness there to cut that volley off. Agassi tried to dip it at his feet, and Boris would have none of it.
It was at this spot in the third set that Becker with the break and went on to win the set. Oh, that was a dicey little half volley on the approach for Agassi.
He handled it well, though. It was a nice half volley. Becker slipping just before he tried to hit that pass. That's why he's pointing down at the court. Caused him to hit that late.
13-15.
Usually likes to pull that forehand cross court. Caught that forehand late as well. And that's what Agassi needs to do occasionally, just to mix things up. Occasional serve volley, just like he did there. Smart play.
Yeah, a serve and volley, and then a drop shot winner, 4-3 in the fourth.
See that power, that game there?
Wood power. Becker leads 2-1, serving 3-4.
They complain about today's players that there's no real strategy when they go out there, but clearly Becker had nice strategy coming into today's match.
Your agent asked that we show this. 3 Wimbledons, 4 U.S. Opens, and of course 9 doubles titles and a mixed at the French. Pretty impressive. That last doubles win here, one of the most exciting, along with your victory over Borg. Off the line, pretty low.
He was really volleyed well today. He had a routine 19-17 in the 5th set. Me and Michael Steek. Gets down nice and low for that, keeps his eye on the ball. Guides it up the line for a winner.
24th volley winner. .30-15. Well, we mentioned that Becker's had much longer matches. Would the wear and tear hurt him? On the other hand, Agassi's had short matches. Now that he's deep into the 4th, looking to a 5th, how's that impact him?
I think the pressure and the expectations come in and were more of a factor than him not having a close match, because he was way ahead in this match. 6-2, 4-1, 2 breaks. No real pressure coming from Becker. It seemed like he put it on himself a little bit.
Well controlled there.
He really hits that shot great. Gets up for it nicely, holds it to the last instant, and just sort of cups it down the line. It's almost like he's carrying the ball.
Chuckle from the crowd as a pigeon invades for a moment. I guess still circling. .34, 30 all. Very difficult conditions now. The rough turf, bad shadows.
Once again, that big second serve saving Becker. Agassi did well to run that down, but easy put away for Boris Becker. Becker knew he couldn't put much on it because he only had one hand to hit with. He kept his cool up there. It's so rare that it's so sunny here that they usually don't have this problem. Clearly a factor now. Once again, Becker going after the Agassi forehand. This time, Agassi steps in. No big backswing to speak of. Very little, as a matter of fact. Just guides it up the line for a winner. You got to think Becker had trouble picking up this return.
Just listen to the sounds here and how quickly the game is played just by sound alone from Becker's hit. Well, no return from Agassi. And this one won't have quite the power of the second serve, but it's almost one sound melting into the return sound. Just wide. He had it measured.
Advantage Becker.
And he's made it an art for him, hitting a backhand passing shot off the back foot, but even that proved to be too difficult for Agassi there. That's not the way you ideally want to hit it. It'd be much easier when you're stepping in. Agassi comfortable hitting off the back foot. That was a good volley once again by Becker.
He's missed all but one first serve in this game. Yet he's at game point.
Seems to be zeroing in on that second serve now.
So 8 points, 7 second serves.
And that's probably why he is zeroing in, because he's had a chance to see a lot, especially this game. Becker tightening up just a touch here.
Double fault.
Advantage, Agassi.
Agassi's 5th break point in this set. 9 double faults in the match for Becker. This is where Becker calls upon his skill so admirably. Another second serve. Look at that. All the chances.
Incredible amount of chances, especially for Becker.
Just wide. Becker happy to come away with the game still intact.
Happy and lucky. Agassi had plenty of time on this forehand pass. Easily could have been 5-3 there.
Another chance lost. Becker's serve is off.
Advantage, Agassi.
And he does have that marvelous quality of coming up with the big serve when he needs it most.
Good knee bend. As you said, a great time for an ace.
20 aces, 10 double faults.
And he pumps himself up in English. It's sort of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Advantage, Becker.
Agassi with a chance, a break chance in each of the last 3 Becker games, service games. Becker now a point from 4-all. The bad news is if they hold into a tiebreak, then that seems to play into Becker's strength. Rolex is the official timepiece of Wimbledon. Agassi, if you're just joining us, jumped out to a 6-2, 4-1 2-break lead in the second, and then Becker, a masterful rally, turned this whole match around. Won 4 straight games late in the second and took the second set in a tie break. 1 break in the third. Becker 6-4, now 4-all.
And he's had some problems with that shot throughout the match, but no problem there. Good low turn by Becker. I guess he just whipped that forehand. Flicked his wrist. Finds himself up 30-love. And Becker appears to be comfortable playing with him in the backcourt. Certainly won his share of points the last couple sets. I never would have thought that would have been the case.
It's certainly been key to the match, hasn't it?
Huge key.
14-15. Game Agassi.
Becker 4-5 in the fourth,
Right,
leading 2-1.
Players are ready. Thank you.
Yesterday, Groff and Aranches Sanchez, Cario, both going 3 sets to advance to the ladies' final. Should Agassi find a way out of this fourth set and take it to 5, it'll be the first time in the Open era that both men's semis went 5 sets.
Got a bit careless there.
15.
Agassi has had a break chance in all 4 of Becker's service games in this set. He's 0 for 6. Becker's had his chances. He's 0 for 7. Three points from the set, Agassi, if he can find a way.
Big man showing some beautiful touch there. First of all, he's half volleyed really well throughout this match.
13-15.
Handling that one rather easily.
Mm.
And knew if he just stuck his racket on that ball, just popped over the net, I guess he would have no chance. Sometimes you have a tendency to take your eye off the ball when your opponent falls off the return.
Not Becker.
Not Becker today. Volleying with authority.
It's been a classic
14-15.
boxer puncher, counter puncher, Agassi, the big hitter, volleyer Becker. It's made for highly entertaining stuff.
Well, they're both big hitters, but they're both showing some nice touch today as well, especially Becker.
Ball!
Game Becker.
5-all.
Five games all.
Becker unrelenting since he was broken 2 straight games to open the second set. Agassi's had his chances, but Becker deny.
Oh, God.
There's a space on there. She screwed up when she said correction.
She said fault correction.
Yeah, she screwed up by saying correction. She was right first time.
Second serve.
But you're not screwing up, right? She is, but you're not.
You talked about Becker's touch.
And something about Becker that hasn't been talked about a lot, certainly in the past, is his ground strokes. Very underestimated, and he's feathery touch on the lob there. They're underestimated just the way Pete Sampras' speed around the court is underestimated. And what a play there by Becker.
He's not only played big, both on the baseline and his serve and volley, but he's played smart.
Extremely smart match today by Becker. You discount that first set and a half. Completely outplaying Andre Agassi.
Of 30.
Little tentative there on that return. That's where you have to force yourself to go after the return, because you say to yourself, just get it back. Maybe my opponent will make a mistake.
That's you.
And he knows he had a real chance here. This time, netting a second serve. Agassi wasting no time here, 30 all. Oh, what a get by Agassi.
Boy, that appeared to be Becker's point here.
Becker gave away his shot just as he was about to hit, and Andre picked up on it and was able to get there and guide it to the open court.
Partly in respect to Becker running down everything, Agassi goes for too much.
I think he's surprised at how hard he's hitting his forehand back to him cross court. He shouldn't be, though. That's Becker's best shot other than his serve. That's the one he has problem with, the forehand up the line.
Agassi's had big success in the deuce court going wide on Becker this fourth set. Point for 6-5. Now it's Becker looking to hold and get this fourth set into a tiebreaker. Brad Gilbert, Agassi's coach. A little extra inspiration. Agassi now at the royal box end of center court and very close proximity. There's our booth right behind Agassi, and the friends box just above that. Becker'd love to get in a tiebreaker where he's so tough.
So consistent on both sides today. That one loose, a little tentative. Instead of going after it, he just guided that ball. Love 15. And Agassi not even close on that return.
You know, some big servers, when they go to their second serve, it's easy pickings, not Becker. Agassi now 2 points from the fifth set.
It looked like Agassi had an opening down the line, but Becker closed it off just in the nick of time. I think if he had hit that ball a little bit cleaner, Becker may have been in trouble. Becker may have been setting him up as well. Way too high, you're right, Dick. It's real easy put away. Still 2 points from the set. But also only 1 point from the tiebreak now.
Boy, that looked long. Agassi can't believe it. So to a 4th set tiebreaker, and while Becker has dominated in this sudden death form in the game of tennis, there is some recent history that would give Agassi fans hope. In the last round, the quarters, Piolín was down 2 sets to Becker, and then took 2 consecutive tiebreakers, 3rd and 4th, and then finally succumbed 9-7 in the 5th. Won the first tiebreaker in the 2nd set in this match, 7 points to 1. So Agassi not close, and he loses his first service point.
Certainly, as we pointed out earlier, Becker's history a lot better in the tiebreaker than Andre Agassi. Another beautiful half volley by Becker.
2-0, Becker.
Totally different player than what we saw in the beginning.
Hard to believe. Agassi was in total control. 6-2, 4-1 up 2 breaks, cruising. 3 points to 0. In the tiebreaker, Agassi has won 1 of 11 points in this match.
Quiet, please.
He better win this point. Becker's going to take his time here, and once again slipping the back of the court. He's going to make Andre wait. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of dirt on his hand, considering it's a grass court. But it may be a little bit damp there, possibly, so certainly within his rights to get a towel. Oh, surprised Agassi there. Maybe had trouble seeing it in the shade.
So up 2 minis. Becker.
4-1, Becker.
He's got to know this is Becker's favorite shot, pulling that ball cross court. Didn't really seem to make much of an effort. I guess he didn't even see it.
3 points from a remarkable upset. Becker's certainly the underdog today, despite this being his best surface.
And the fact that he said he was born here and feels like it's his living room.
22nd ace. They change end.
Goran Ivanisevic could learn something from this guy, Boris Becker, how to play big points. Once again, Becker showing what separates him, the men from the boys. What an effort by Becker today. Certainly has proven me wrong.
Sensational effort by Becker. Wins the first tiebreaker 7 points to 1. 6-1 here in the 4th.
Please.
5 match points.
Please.
What started so brilliantly for the #1 seed Agassi is sent crashing to this famed turf by Boris Becker. 2-6, 7-6, 6-4, 7-6. Becker allowing only 2 points in 2 tiebreakers. And Nick Bollettieri, who knows the emotions of this match most of all, having been the teaching father of Andre Agassi and now the mature mentor to Boris Becker, has watched his 27-year-old pupil earn a way into the finals against Pete Sampras, and will try to deny another American a rare three-peat.
If you want to learn how to play big points well, look at this guy. Did not miss a single first serve in either tiebreaker. That is amazing.
He said he was born on center court. Well, at age 27, he'll celebrate right here a 10-year victory anniversary. What a match by Becker. And as we sit here, John McEnroe, we're trying to go through what in the world happened in that second set. Agassi breezing 4-1 up 2 breaks.
Well, you got to give it to Becker, the mental strength that he's had. He took advantage of the fact that it seemed that Agassi started feeling the pressure, the expectations of being in the finals, of winning Wimbledon for the second time. He just wasn't the same player. We've been talking about it since the match ended. What happened at 4-1? He was up 2 breaks. He was playing the best tennis of his life. Loses in 4 sets.
And then after losing the tiebreaker, it looked as if in the third set he was discouraged, down on himself. He didn't really work the same manner. He didn't run down balls. And then the fourth, he got it going again, but 6 break chances couldn't convert.
Well, when the nerves go on, you have a tendency to get flat-footed and you sort of lose your desire a little bit. But this is the semis of Wimbledon. I have no real answer for it. We'll see if there's an explanation in the press. But let's give Boris Becker credit. A lot of people, including myself, figured he had little or no chance, and he's proven a lot of people wrong today.
In case you're wondering, Pete Sampras and Boris Becker have played 11 times. Sampras is 6-5, and one of those wins was on his way to the Wimbledon title 2 years ago. You got a pick for Sunday?
Well, I'm going to go with Sampras. I thought it was going to be a Sampras-Agassi final, but who knows what's going to happen now. Becker certainly made things interesting here today.
So Becker goes for a rare 4th Wimbledon title, while Sampras an even more difficult 3 in a row. And then the women's tomorrow. We couldn't let you go without giving us your pick as Sanchez Vicario goes against the favorite Graf.
Well, I know Chrissy's taking Graf, and she's certainly the big favorite here, but she seems to be a bit bothered by that back. I think that's the question. I think Sanchez Vicario is going to win if that back's bothering in any way, shape, or form. But I'm going to go against the grain and pick Sanchez Vicario.
What a surprise against the grain. McEnroe, you heard it first right here from center court. Let's go now to Hannah Storm.
Thanks, Dick. Andre Agassi, the world #1, entering this match. Virtually everyone's pick to win it all, but denied by Boris Becker. 10 years to the day since Becker became the youngest Wimbledon champion in history. These were among the comments by Agassi and Becker after the match.
First of all, nobody should underestimate me in Wimbledon. You know, even when I'm down, I still have a chance and I still believe, and I'm sure. I mean, the match, I was down a set and I was down 4-1, but I still had the belief. I still had the deep down. I still had the hope that, you know, even though I'm maybe going to lose the second set, I'm still in the third set. I'm still going to fight until the end, and he has to beat me. And surprised, I've been in that situation much more than anybody in the draw.
I just felt like, you know, really mentally I had a hard time shaking off the fact that I let a 4-1 2-service break lead slip away, and I just my confidence just dropped. Just wasn't hitting the ball with the same confidence, and you know, and that's going to be highlighted against some of the serves as well as Boris. And he's an experienced player too. He's not going to miss the easy volleys at 30-all to give me those break points. I gotta take it from him, and I just feel like after that second set, I never quite emotionally rose to the occasion, or my confidence wasn't there.
With him being on top of his game, being #1 in the world, that must have been probably the best tennis match I've ever had in Wimbledon.